What's up, y'all? Half Naked here at the channel that's gonna bring you everything you ever wanted in life. We're talking about disaster mitigation today. When something strikes and you feel that, oh no, let's say for example that you stub your toe and it's really bad and you don't think you're gonna be able to walk for a couple weeks or dance, and that's like your favorite thing in the world. That might have just happened to me. What do we do? What's the right way to respond? If you like the topic, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed. Come along this journey with us. Let me know in the comments what type of things you like. If you got any questions, let me know. Okay, so I've had toe problems for like 10 years. When I stubbed my toe today pretty badly, I had this overwhelming expectation that I was screwed. Probably not a good state of mind to be in. The ideal state of mind is probably to have a slight optimism, or really just have a sort of proactive disposition towards life and begin acting immediately, like asking, what can I do? Instead of assuming that we're screwed, immediately begin to take care of ourselves, right? Every moment we have the opportunity to accept where we're at, take it for what it is, and start doing the best we can, right? So, okay, I just stubbed my toe really badly. That is what it is. Possibly no big deal. Historically, we've got evidence for it being a big deal. Possibly no big deal. So I immediately sat my feelings and started working on the toe, right? Figure out what's going on, where's the pain, assess the situation, what can I still do, and begin researching. What is this? I, for example, have decided to treat this as turf toe. I canceled all of my movement plans for the next 3 days. I'm going to take it extra easy, and I'm going to see how I feel tomorrow. Those of you who've been around for a while definitely heard in the earlier videos we talked a lot about reality, goodness, and work. The first thing to do is check in with reality. The reality is that we don't yet know that we're screwed. Right? The reality is, I'm feeling some pain, some trauma just occurred. I'm not sure how bad this is going to get. The goodness is, I still have the capacity to potentially help myself, and then we begin doing the work. Reality, goodness, and work. And again, the work, I mean, just immediately beginning to notice the situation, notice our somatic experience, and begin taking external action. In this case, therapy for the foot, rest, ice, compression, elevation, as well as doing research to figure out what I'm going to do about the situation. Quick side note on the toe injury and similar injuries. I would recommend taking off a day. Like, really avoid any more trauma. Don't try to walk it off. There are rare exceptions to that rule. Don't try to be a tough guy or tough girl or anything. Don't try to walk it off. Take the 24 hours break. See how you feel in the morning. Treat it as though it might be a problem. Don't overreact emotionally. But feel free to over-caretake, protect yourself. We get to live with this body for the rest of our lives. And early response and early care can be really helpful. It's worth it. It's worth it. So take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Might talk in another video about it, but here's another thing that I'm preempting that's really scary for me is, another thing I sat and did was, what's my lesson here? What's my lesson here? And really, I feel like the lesson is obvious and I just don't want to hear it. The lesson feels like it's dangerous, it's risky. I know it's risky for me to play physically. It's risky for me. The history of feeling particularly fragile and acquiring injuries, and the older we get, the longer they take to heal. Unfun news. Such is life. Right? Doesn't mean I need to stop playing and stop being physical. I can also look at, I had some bad intuitive feelings around kicking soccer balls, for example. Maybe that's a general rule for me. I do not kick balls. Sorry. But I can still dance, potentially. I don't think I've actually hurt myself dancing. I've got some intuition around the lifts and things that I do, which I think I have hurt some of my shoulders historically. So we can listen to our intuition. It might be telling us, hey, you have a history of what's going on here, potentially causing problems. We can listen to those intuitions, and we can choose to ignore them. But I'd like for us to be consciously choosing and not to be a sort of frustrated, let's say immature, childlike response of, no, I want to do what I want. So take care of yourself. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying notice the reality, settle down, try not to overreact, care for yourself in your overreactions, and take care of yourself in the early phases of trauma. Feel free to over-care for yourself. If that doesn't feel comfortable for you, ask whether or not there's shame involved, so on and so forth, and clear that out. Take care of yourself, your mind, your body, your emotions, the whole thing, because we are moving up together. Hit that subscribe button. It's real good. It's going to keep getting better. I'll see you real soon. I appreciate you.